Well, hello, I'm Joanna with Blissful Baby Sleep Coaching, and I'm here with Laura and Nate, who have a baby boy who is 9 months old at time of coaching. Thanks, you guys, for being here. We are sharing their success story because it's a big, amazing success story. So I always like to start with the question is, what did it look like before you called me?
So before we reached out to you, we were really struggling with his naps. So he was still doing contact naps twice a day, and sometimes those would take us a few hours where we would have to reset, but we didn't really know how to reset, and he was having these massive meltdowns and he was doing alligator rolls in our arms in the chair, and we just had no idea like how to get him to go to sleep during the day. Nighttime was the same routine. He had to fall asleep in our arms and we had to transfer him to the crib. Sometimes that failed. And then he was having frequent wake ups, a lot of early wake ups. And by the end of it, we just resorted to completely co-sleeping because that was the only way that we could get him to sleep throughout the night.
Yeah. Yeah. And you guys had been, thinking about it, doing some research, like trying some
Yeah.
things. It wasn't like it wasn't like this all cascaded. It was like things just kind of kept getting worse. And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, like, whoa.
Yeah. First, it was just early rising. When we first
Yeah.
reached out, he was just getting up early in the morning. And then it was this whole thing of now he's fighting all naps. Now he's waking up all night. And then,
Yeah.
when he was co-sleeping, he'd sleep like a little angel baby, except for
Yeah.
we would not.
He actually slept well for a little while, and then it just,
Yeah.
after 6 or 7 months, it just all went downhill. It
Yeah.
started to get worse and worse and worse.
He
And
was a really good sleeper up until about 7 months. And then he started crawling and that was it.
we just didn't have the
Exactly.
pill.
And that's what can be so hard and confusing for parents because if you had a good sleeper and then like a couple
Yeah.
of funky things like early rising, which is early rising is defined as like waking between 4 and 6 a.m. And then, oh, maybe a couple of contact naps. And then all of a sudden, oh, a couple of bad nights, let's co-sleep. And so it's just like it went from good to like a little funky, a
Yeah.
little bit more weird. And then all of a sudden, like full blown, I cannot sustain this. And that's kind of what happened to you. And
Yeah.
I think that's an important thing for families to know is like you can go from a good situation to a funky situation to just flat out bad. And
Yeah.
it's nobody's fault, right? That was the thing that you and I talked about a lot is like you guys
Yeah.
didn't do anything wrong. Like he went through all of these milestones. He
Yeah.
st- all these milestones back to back. He got sick. Like a lot of things just led to the situation where it was like, okay, now we need help. So that
Yeah.
was like the next question is like, okay, so obviously you're like, we need help, but like, what was there any other reason why you decided to reach out for one-on-one support? Like, were you like,
Yeah.
I want to do a digital course or it didn't work? Like, what was it about one-on-one support with me where you're like, I need one-on-one support with Joanna?
Yeah, I think for me, it's just my mental health was really struggling. I was severely sleep deprived and I was just getting really angry really easily. So I get really frustrated. Like I kept having to hand him off to Nate for naps and stuff during the weekend because he would just sit there kind of thriving and thrashing around and I just couldn't take it. His crying was triggering me severely. And then even throughout the day, I just felt like I couldn't engage with him at all because I was just so exhausted and so frustrated. What
Yeah.
about you, babe?
Yeah, it was definitely, it just kind of took over our lives. It was just our whole day was just about fighting him to sleep. And then our whole nights were just anxiety about him not sleeping and then us not sleeping. And it just became clear that we just didn't have the energy or the time to
Yeah.
create our own plan or to learn the skills or to figure out which method we wanted to use. And
Yeah.
we just needed help because we needed to get it fixed fast.
That's right.
Yes, yes,
Sure.
definitely, definitely. Yeah. And like you were saying, like Nate was home with him during the day, and like he would take him 4 hours to get like maybe 2.5 hours of daytime sleep. It
Yeah.
was like
Sometimes
the
more. I
ratio.
mean, sometimes he reset 2 or 3 times. It was
Yeah,
just really a frustrating. The whole day became about naps and getting him down, and both of us just really started dreading it.
you dread the
Yeah.
days, you dread the nights. Okay. So good news. What does it look like now?
It's so much better now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It took him
So
just a
like,
couple of days,
Yeah.
and he's sleeping through the night. He still has some wake ups, but he puts himself back to sleep. Before he wasn't doing that. We can put him in the crib awake, which is
Mhm.
something that we've never been able to do ever. And we're no longer contact napping. So that's a huge win. So Nate gets hours of his day back.
Oh yeah, at least I get like 6 hours of my day back. Because it was before, it was like a multi-hour process for each nap. And now I go in there and I run through our routine and well, use all of our skills. And it takes me less than 10 minutes to go into
Yeah.
his crib and then he falls asleep within 15 minutes afterwards. And he doesn't cry, he doesn't scream at me, and he just goes to sleep and then I get to go and enjoy my
Yeah.
time.
I know
Yeah.
dad's like, quiet house. Amazing.
Yeah.
I think the only
Um,
problem is now I have less time to play games on my phone because I'm not sitting in that chair for hours a day. So that's been a hit.
Yeah.
Taking a
yeah,
hit. Probably save some money though.
Or chores.
yeah, probably save some money.
Shopping
Um,
lists now?
yeah, yeah, no more like, doom scrolling or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think what's really important about that is that you, because mom, you were feeling really sleep deprived and his
Yeah.
crying was already really triggering. It was really important that you found a coach that was not cry it out. Like
Yeah.
that you trying to do your own version of extinction or your own version of Ferber was just logistically not even the right choice because you were already so emotionally fragile
Yeah.
because of sleep deprivation that any kind of crying, like crying was too hard
Yeah.
on your mama heart.
Yeah.
So so
Mhm.
Nate was the coach
Mhm.
and we really
Wonderful.
had to wonderful, awesome coach, and that relieved mom to be able to take care of herself and not get triggered. But
Yeah.
more importantly, we moved in a really gentle pace,
Mhm.
meaning we crafted it to meet the needs of the child so that the crying there was
Yeah.
it wasn't high drama at all. Like, do you want to talk
Yeah.
about that like you were actually like pleasantly surprised, like, oh wow, like he did more settling and soothing than crying.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think we learned how to soothe him too, because we didn't know what worked for him. And we were trying so hard in the chair when we were contact napping and nothing would work. And so it took us a couple of nights to figure it out, but now we
Yeah.
know what soothes him. And we
Yeah.
actually used it this last weekend when he was having a little bit of a hard time. And the same thing that worked in the crib, it worked, when we were out camping, and
Yeah.
we know how to soothe him now, what works for him. And it's super helpful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. So that
I
leads me to
think,
my next
yeah.
question, which was, what are you guys doing now that you couldn't do before? And you just alluded to it. Like
Yeah.
Well, we
now
sleep in
that
the same
he's
bed together at night.
Yeah.
yeah,
Have to sleep in the
master bedroom is back in business.
Yeah.
Okay, good,
Yeah.
good.
My mom had actually tried to have him over one night when both of us were really, really sick, and she brought him back because he was so bad before with sleeping. So now we can have someone watch him
Yeah. Grandma's watched
overnight.
him. My sisters
Yeah.
watched him.
Now people can watch him overnight because when she tried, she attempted to put him to sleep 4 or 5 times and he wouldn't sleep. So she's like, he's not sleeping.
Mhm, mhm.
Um,
And now anybody can put him in the
Now
crib and
anyone
he
can put
goes
him
to
to
sleep.
sleep. And also, we had canceled a vacation because his sleep was so bad. We were like, well, we're going to be up all night. We don't want to cram into a queen bed together when at least here we have separate bedrooms and we can get more sleep. It was just, we can go on trips now.
Yeah.
So that's big for us because we have some big holidays that I'm very, very excited to go on that we were not sure if we get to go on. And
Yeah.
now we know that we can go on those.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
good. Yeah. So what I do when I work with clients is we always make a wish list of what we want. And part of their wish list was obviously sleeping through the night and hands-free naps. But the other like bonus was we have a wedding to go to and we want grandma to stay overnight so we can
Yeah.
go to the wedding without bringing the baby. Mission
Mhm.
accomplished. What
Yep.
Yeah.
great. And then the other one was we know he needs to sleep in a pack and play if we go on a vacation,
Yep.
and we want to know that he can do nights and naps in a pack and play. And you guys tried that last weekend, and he was successful at doing
Yeah.
that. So that's leading to that possibility of these future
Yep.
trips are longer, not just a weekend thing, but like a longer thing that now you have a little bit more confidence that he can actually be portable, which I think is a big thing for a lot of families. You want like a portable baby,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
um,
And our
which is
Hawaii trip, and just knowing we were dreading it, Joanna. We had that Hawaii trip and we were dreading leaving our baby with our grandparents, knowing that he was going to give them hell for a
An
week
entire week.
at naps. But now we don't worry about it at all because they just
Yeah.
put him in the crib and he goes to
And they've
sleep.
already done it, and they came for the wedding, and they were the ones who put him in. And my mom's going to be taking him for
Mhm.
a Halloween trip that we used to go on every single year that we had to skip last year. So that's
oh,
just because I was, a couple days postpartum. We couldn't be
yeah.
traveling, but so we're
No,
really
yeah.
excited to get out and do that.
Yeah, so literally, you guys, like, in 2 weeks, their
Mhm.
Yeah.
life went from, "Holy crap," to, "We're going to Hawaii and grandma's."
That's
Yeah.
right. Guilt-free.
Yeah.
Right, and guilt-free, and that's why I call it guilt-free gentle sleep coaching, because I don't want as mothers and parents, like, we have guilt for a million different reasons, like, let's not have sleep be the reason why you feel guilty,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So if you were to meet a sleep-deprived, overwhelmed parent
Mhm.
who was afraid to get help with sleep training, or didn't even know that sleep training was available,
Yeah.
or maybe had some misperceptions that it was like bad or scary, or it was like high drama with lots of crying. What would you want them to know about the process?
I think we were surprised how easy it was. I think that we expected a big battle and a big fight from him, but because we went with the method and were really methodical about it, it was so much easier than I thought and so much less. There was really like no drama. It wasn't traumatizing at all. It
Mhm.
flowed very naturally.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And, they don't have to just leave their baby in a room to cry it out for hours. It is
Yeah.
very possible to not do that. And I would definitely recommend that everyone try your method instead of just leaving them to cry.
Absolutely. I think if we had done this on our own, it probably would have
Yeah.
taken us at the least weeks, if not more, to figure it out. We
Yeah.
probably would have stopped and started along the way or gotten frustrated. And
Yeah.
I think this was not only was it faster, but I feel like we just learned great skills
I
that
know.
we can use for baby number two,
If
or
baby number 2 is like this baby.
if baby number two is like this baby, hopefully easier. But we just learned so many like great skills along the way, and we learned how he works, which
Yeah.
Yeah.
just that's super helpful.
Yeah, that's what I always say. What I love about this process is, like, yes, we are going to solve all the sleep struggles and get you to your wish list, but so much more happens in the one-on-one coaching experience. Like, we start to understand your baby in a way that you didn't understand them more. You guys learn more about each other as in partnership, in parenting partnership.
Yeah.
In this case, Nate did all the sleep coaching, and like, so he learned this new relationship with his son, you know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
it allowed mom to get the sleep she needed so she could come back to the table and like not and be joyful in being with him instead
Yeah.
of drifting. Like, so it does so much more than just solve the problem. It
Yeah.
really brings harmony to the household, and you just learn about how to be more emotionally available to your child than
Yeah.
you even knew, because before you were sleep deprived. So it's just a little bit richer. Like, things end up a little bit
Absolutely.
bigger and a little bit richer.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No,
all
we
right.
couldn't.
Well, thank you so
Yeah.
much, you guys. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate you sharing your story. I know it's going to help a lot of people.
I appreciate it. We
Absolutely.
appreciate you so much. You have no
Yeah.
idea.
Thank you so much. Yeah, no, we have our
Yay.
lives back. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes. Lives back. Amen. Yes.